Dr. Chatterjee, now you actually were, you testified
yes,
against Mother Teresa's beatification in 2003 with Christopher Hitchens, who's written about this. Now, she's seen as a sort of icon of caring, a sort of a benchmark of compassion, Mother Teresa. But there are aspects of her life and work that trouble a lot of people. What troubles you?
Well, I mean, where do you start? I mean, practically anything that's known about her is shrouded in mystery and myth. You know, runs a home for the dying. You don't have to go there. Just look at pictures of the home for the dying. The people there don't even have proper beds. I mean, they're made to lie on these hammocks called pallets. They're not allowed to get up. And during Mother Teresa's lifetime, there was an official policy. Can you imagine an official policy to reuse needles over and over again? And this was when HIV first came out. And there was absolutely no compassion there whatsoever.
Maybe there were limited resources.
Oh, well...
Oh no, there were beds, and Mother Teresa took them out because she said that people who were suffering would be closer to God.
Yeah, if they suffered.
That's not comforting the dying, that's actually making things worse.
What about, have you ever heard of a hospice where their relatives and friends are not allowed to visit? They're not allowed to get up and walk. There's no yard to walk. It's a brutalization.
Was she a hypocrite?
I would say completely, yes.
Well, of course she was. She ran these places. Then when she was dying, she went to the most expensive clinic in Switzerland and had state-of-the-art treatment.
Not only when she was dying, she had any treatment. I'll show you pictures if you want. This is the Birla Heart Institute in Calcutta itself, where she had numerous angioplasties and heart treatments. She went.
We can't really see them on the television.
Okay,
I'll take your word for it. But
for minor ailments, she went to the Scripps Clinic in La Jolla, California.
All right. Well, where did the money go?
It went on religious activities. She kept her money in the Vatican Bank. Why? And why did she keep money in the Vatican Bank? It's absolutely ridden with scandal. You know, it had this connection with the Banco Ambrosiano of Naples, or one of the Italian banks. And there were killings, mafiosi dealings, there were money laundering.
She took tainted money, did she?
Absolutely tainted money. And we don't know where the money is. You know, the Charles Keating, the
fraudster,
biggest fraudster in US history until then, we know that he gave her 1.25 billion. Thousands of other people gave her loads of money, and they're all spent. Either they're languishing in the banks, or they're spent on religious activities. And
she had connections with dictators, did she?
I don't mind if she had connections with dictators, but she spent her money, fruitfully and to the benefit of the poor.
Well, you were.
Mother Teresa's flagship institution is her home for the dying, a hospice which purportedly sweetens the last moments of otherwise destitute lives.
My initial impression was of all the photographs and footage I've ever seen of Belsen and places like that, because all the patients had shaved heads. There are no chairs anywhere, there are just these stretcher beds, and they're like First World War stretcher beds. There's no garden, no yard even, no nothing. And I thought, what is this? This is 2 rooms with 50 to 60 men in one, 50 to 60 women in another. They're dying. They're not being given a great deal of medical care. They're not being given painkillers really beyond aspirin and maybe, if you're lucky, some brufen or something for the sort of pain that goes with terminal cancer and the things that they were dying of. And I thought, what's the point?
Right from the very beginning, I wanted to serve the poor purely for the love of God and to give them what the rich people get with money. I wanted to give to the poor for the love of God.
They didn't have enough drips. The needles they used and reused over and over and over, and you would see some of the nuns rinsing needles under the cold water tap. And I asked one of them why she was doing it. And she said, well, to clean it. And I said, yes, but why are you not sterilizing it? Why are you not boiling water and sterilizing your needles? She says, there's no point. There's no time.
Mother Teresa's cult of death and suffering depends for its effect on the most vulnerable and helpless, abandoned babies, say, or the terminally ill, who supply the occasions for charity and the raw material for demonstrations of compassion.
First day I was there, when I finished working in the women's ward, I went and waited on the edge of the men's ward for my boyfriend, who was looking after a boy of 15 who was dying, and an American doctor told me that she had been trying to treat this boy and that he had a really relatively simple kidney complaint that had simply got worse and worse and worse because he hadn't had antibiotics, and he actually needed an operation. I don't recall what the problem was. She did tell me. And she was so angry, but also very resigned, which so many people become in that situation. She said, well, they won't take him to hospital. And I said, why? All you have to do is get a cab, take him to the nearest hospital, demand that he has treatment, get him an operation. She said, they don't do it. They won't do it. If they do it for one, they do it for everybody. And I thought, but this kid's 15.